You're listening to the Normal Isn't Necessary podcast, brought to you in part by the Gumball Head Sobriety Society and generous listeners just like you. For the latest updates, check out the link in our bio. Good Friday morning, ladies and gentlemen. It's your host, Gumball Head. Another episode of Road Rants, the series where we complain or we just chat about things on our way to work. Started off as a complaint network, and now it's really just a normal network. And we all know normal isn't necessary, so it's not necessary to listen to our podcast, but we do thank our supporters and our listeners for tuning in with us. I'm your host, Gumball Head. Today is the 6th of June, 2025. It's Friday, 75 degrees already this morning. Beautiful sunny skies here in Ohio. Been interacting a lot with a lot of people. My father-in-law recently has offered me to make some contacts with some rockers from the Detroit area. Put me in contact with a couple of them, so stay tuned for that. We've got some interviews coming up for you guys with some older rockers, some Motown, some blues. I'm really looking forward to it. I'll explain something here. I was putting a garage door clicker in my wife's car today, and I saw a couple of CDs on the floor. Well, the radio really, nowadays is not fantastic because they're tied to what music is popular. Don't get me wrong, everybody loves Tay-Tay, right? Everybody loves Taylor Swift. And everybody else that's on the radio, they get radio airplay. They increase the radio airplay for the bands that are touring. It's summertime, so there's summer concert touring series, but you hear the same regurgitated songs over and over and over again. That's broadcast radio for you. It's unfortunate, but that's the way it's become. A giant entertainment advertising conglomerate when it comes to bands. Not a whole lot of radio stations out there playing, a good mix anymore. Most of the radio stations are playing the same few songs over and over and over again. And if you switch to another station, chances are that station's owned by the previous station, and you're going to hear the same playlist. Just wait long enough. So, but that's a complaint. Back in the 80s, 90s, you got the same thing. It wasn't so much. It wasn't so much in your face. Less advertisements, more song play. Now that we have internet radio, obviously things have changed. Obviously things are better to get your hands on as far as playlists go that you want to listen to, but the radio is still playing what they need to play. But my father-in-law has introduced me to a couple of bands and a couple of musicians, and we are excited to be interviewing them. Stay tuned for that stuff coming up. Also, Mike from Frankenfuel, we got coming in. Frankenfuel Energy Drink. Met him through our good friend L.A. Rogers, SFX makeup artist down in Georgia. Got some other connections coming in too. Working on an interview with Bucks and Brews. Dave and his teammate over there. We're looking forward to chatting it up with them. And that's Dave and Nick. I don't normally say Nick's name because I don't have that kind of relationship with him, but Dave, I do, and looking to promote him, and even potentially his wife. His wife is the owner, operator, and curator of Break Room Therapy in Byron Center. There's a quick plug for you, Dave, if you listen to our podcast off the air. But his wife over there is doing great things with her business, and I'm very proud of those two people. They mean a lot to me. But anyways, moving forward, speaking of being proud of people, our good friends over at Modern Viking Beard Care Company, modernvikingllc.com. You go over there, and they got a really cool website. And John over there at Modern Viking, he's friends with me. I met him through TikTok, and he is pushing that men's mental health stuff right now on TikTok. He's always been a huge supporter of us, and we try every episode to reciprocate that appreciation, show our love right back to them. They're a veteran-owned company out of Ohio. They make all their own products. They bottle their own products. They package their own products. They ship their own products. It's a full-time gig for the owner because he's busy, and he's busy because he sells premium products. Beard care products, beard balms, oils, deodorant, soaps. Well, I guess it's not deodorant, soaps, but soap. Smells really good. Shampoos, and the Shield Maiden line for the ladies. So check them out, modernvikingllc.com. Jump over there. 10% off. You use code Gumball10. Anything over $35, free shipping. in the United States, and outside internationally, it's $15 flat rate shipping. So give them a look. Check out our link tree real quick when you get a few minutes. 30 days free on Hulu, and there's also a 2-week trial to Headspace. If you check that out, let them know Gumball Head sent you. Click through the link on the bio. And also the last thing that we really want to talk about is the 2-week free trial to Babbel, the language teaching software on there. I use it. I'm learning Spanish. Se hablan español un poquito. I speak Spanish very little. But la cocina no bueno. The kitchen is no good. Using it to learn how to conjugate my verbs and do my speech transitions. Due to the community that I work with, is primarily Spanish speaking, so it's a lot easier for me to understand and learn that stuff than it is to try to work with an app. Google Translate is fantastic, don't get me wrong, but that's not as personal as having a good conversation. So check it out, Babbel 2-week free trial on our link tree. And again, like I said, we got music coming up here on the podcast, some musicians coming up. I'm not going to say their names because I don't have it locked down yet, but started the works with that. Started the works with Frank and Fuel Conversations with Mike. We've got the producer Micro coming up here before long. He's got a new song coming out. He's getting married. Really excited to have him on as a guest. He's also the founder of a community similar to ours for Kratom, for quitting Kratom, and a huge advocate for that, getting out of the Kratom world. We've just got a lot of exciting things coming up, so stay tuned. Right now, Clubfoot Awareness Month, Pride Month, Men's Mental Health Month, all the entire month of June, constantly talking about that, bringing it up, supporting it. LGBTQ Month, Pride Month, supporting everybody that we know in the community, and it's growing. It's a growing community of unity, and we're allies. We 100% support everybody in that community, and we look forward to getting more and more involved as we grow as a group, as we grow as a podcast. So I think it'd be really cool to have our friends over at Bucks and Brews. They are huge allies, and Dave over there at Bucks and Brews has been an amazing man when it comes to supporting that community. He was a softball coach. He had a lot of the ladies that were alternative lifestyle, and just a good-hearted man, big giant grizzly bear. I'd love to sit down and snuggle him one day. He's a great hugger, great guy. So stay tuned. We got some of that stuff coming up. But I do want to talk about some stuff. Yesterday I talked about artificial ingredients in our life, and artificial intelligence and artificial information that we receive into our brains as a result of the artificial surroundings that we produce as a result of life, and the artificial foods that we put into our bodies and changing our chemicals. And I was watching a video last night on Instagram with my wife, and it said, he gave the breakdown of why this guy said, why can I eat bread in Spain, but I had to be, gluten-free in America and Canada? And they explained how they broke down the chemical composition of the components and the ingredients that go into bread in America, and it broke it right down to the breakdown of the grains and how they made shelf-stable flour by enriching it with certain chemicals, and eventually what you end up with is stripping everything that's nutritional value of bread and putting it out there, and there's zero nutrients, zero vitamins in standard store-bought bread. And I just earlier yesterday talked about my wife's sourdough and how amazingly tasty it is. And last night she had given me a meal. Well, actually, I guess it was yesterday. My lunch consisted of store-bought peanut butter, which was okay. But she made the jam, she made the bread, and she gave me some cookies and some strawberries. And it was a very fulfilling lunch, and I was excited to have that lunch because my wife made the bread, and it's cheaper, it's healthier, it's better for you. You can control the quality of the ingredients, you can control the thickness of your slices. And she is doing more and more, and she said, I'd really like to get a grain mill, make my own grains, mill my own grains. That'd be fantastic. It's a huge commitment, but she's going more and more hands-on with the homesteading, and I really appreciate and respect her for that. And I have been speaking to my wife a lot lately because she's my partner in this clubfoot journey. She's an amazing mother, and our friends all love her and think that she's great because they've seen the great things that she's done for me. So, but I do like talking about the diet and stuff like that, and how the diet does affect our minds, and affects our abilities to grow, and it affects how we approach things and how our thought processes work. And yesterday when I equated our diets in general to, our intelligence and into our psyche and into our mental health, it really got something going in my brain yesterday. And it's weird because if you think about it, sometimes we consume meals. Let's say Friday night, we get together with friends, we sit down, and we have, a meal with our friends, and we have, let's say, spaghetti. Saturday, we feel bloated. We feel, maybe even sick to our stomach. Might have bathroom issues. You might get the shits, or, you might just not feel good the next day because you went out to Olive Garden. But you make it at home, and you still feel a little bit of the bloat, but it's not so bad. It's not commercialized. But if you make your own ingredients, you get to control everything that goes in there. And we struggle with that. And I'm just kind of continuing on to yesterday's comment of controlling the ingredients and controlling the things that we put into our mouth hole. We can control what goes into our ear hole too. And while social media and technology in general is very important to our growth, and I harp on technology regularly, but while that stuff is important to our growth, I think that we're starting to get away from putting good quality things into our brains. Getting away from putting good quality thoughts into our brains and good quality wholesomeness into our brains. And my wife made a TikTok video yesterday talking about the messages in the Bible. And without going too deep into religion, I've been thinking about that. So I've been listening to some Christian rock lately, and there's some really good stuff out there. Some really good Christian metal, and I think that when it comes to music, that stuff has really, really changed a lot in the last 20 years. It's not as wholesome as it used to be. It's not as good as it used to be, and if you're going to put out a rock song that talks about picking up chicks and living that life and doing the things that you need to do, and being a rocker and sex, drugs, rock and roll, those aren't good things to sing about, but they're better than some of the other things. And if you listen to a lot of the music nowadays, especially emo music, there's a lot of depression, a lot of sadness. But if you also look at it in the positive way, a lot of that is a story of, hey, this is the beginning of where everything started going wrong. These are the things that went wrong. This is my feelings about how it went wrong, and this is what I'm doing about it. And when I equate that over to our life cycles concept in the book that we're writing, life cycles, the beginning of life, the experience that we have, the death and dying process of the negative things in life, and then actual overall death, whether it's the end of something or the end of life, that is still part of the life cycle. The beginning, the middle, or the experience, the disease process, and the end. And I talk about this regularly as well. Those things that happen in our lives are consistent. Those things that happen in our lives are always going to be there. Those things that happen in our lives, we have to be able to figure out how to delineate the difference between the good and the bad. Take the good from the bad. And this week has been a rough week for me. I've taken a lot of the bad stuff and turned it into good. Had a conversation yesterday that I didn't want to have with somebody, but the overall conversation went from, a confrontation to a conversation, and that confrontation was putting the other party at ease with the conversation we were having, letting them know, hey, this isn't anything negative. Here's how we can grow from this. This is something that we can do. This is something that we can change. This is something that we can fix. This is something that we can work through. It's just going to take some work, and it's going to take work on both parties. And I'm very reactional. I am very, quick to jump to conclusions. I'm very quick to get upset and angry about things. But I've gotten better over the last 10 years as a result of working hard and understanding that my actions can control the outcome of a situation. And I had talked to somebody yesterday about how they hate their job because they go to work, their boss yells at everybody, they cuss at everybody. The owner of the company is constantly yelling and screaming and being hard on the people that work there. And they're like, oh, I don't understand how they can keep people that work here. Well, people need jobs, man. You know, they really do. And unfortunately, not every company out there has a great management team. Not every company out there has the ability to lead. Not every company out there has the ability to be positive about the outcome of stuff. And when I was talking about the conglomerate of America, and this is in the artificial podcast that I did yesterday, big companies aren't there to do anything other than make money. You know, those are the companies that put that family first atmosphere aside, and they're like, we're here to make money for us. We'll give you a little bit in helps of you giving us a lot of it. You know, you look at TikTok and the influencers, you look at Amazon and the influencers. You know, you make a portion of the money. It's basically working for a commission, and in order to build your business, you have to build your business. You know, you have to make it grow, and the only way that you're going to be successful is if you grow and you work hard at it. And that's what my wife's doing with her influencer stuff, Amazon, TikTok, et cetera, et cetera. But that's an opportunity for everybody on social media to do the same exact thing. And you can work from home. You can grow your business. You can grow all those things by influencing people to buy those products. We're just not akin to taking that hard work and that determination and putting it into process. But once you get things going, once you start getting things moving, the effort pays off. You don't have to put in as much effort. The same thing works with our mental health. The same thing works with our physical health. The same thing works with our relationships. If we put that work in on the front line and we put that effort in, it's going to suck at first, but eventually it's going to grow and it's going to flourish. It's going to be a beautiful thing. We just have to put that work in. Don't be afraid to put that work in. Continue to work hard. Continue to understand what's going on inside your head. Continue to understand what's going on environmentally. Continue to understand that longevity is based on the effort and the time and the curation of things that you put into it. Keep that in mind for our podcast this afternoon, the live drive at 5 on our way home. This will be the June 6th edition of it. And until our paths cross, stay strong, stay focused, stay sober. Much love. We'll see you soon.